All right, people, here we are again at Bar Talk Raw and Unfiltered at the JXC Lounge here in Bloomfield, Connecticut. Again, if you want, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.
And also share.
And share, most definitely share. So speaking of sharing, you know, as we like to do, we like to have topics, rare things. But hey, Rick, let me ask you something, because I know you like to talk about the hoes. I mean, that's all, you know, no matter what. So my question to you, Rick, is
I'm surrounded by two people. I just want to let you know.
So just, I think we had this conversation before, but how many bodies does it take for a woman to have before her kitty cat is dead?
He don't know.
No more than 9.
Why?
So on that 10th body, a cat only got 9 lives.
Hey, there we go. So think about that, ladies. The kitty cat only got 9 lives. So once you pass number 9, they say it's dead. I don't know.
Both of y'all. In this day and
so
age,
what do y'all think? Do you think after 10 the kitty cat is dead?
Well, why don't y'all ask y'all lips, since that's where y'all always go first.
So, no, all jokes aside, so Rage, how's things going? How things coming along with the comedy? I know you killing it. I know you killing it.
Busy as ever. But anyway, I want to talk about the disillusionals, and how we talk about how women are so disillusional. We accept that, you know, because some of us are completely. You know what I'm saying?
Majority.
However, where do you think the source comes from? Consider the source. Where do you think the source came from? No, the men. The men.
All right, how? Explain. How is the source of your delusion men?
No, it starts from your delusion.
What delusion?
How old are we? Thinking we could get a younger woman?
It's only gonna get worse.
Things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? How old are we? Thinking we could hold family secrets? No. You asked me.
Okay,
Hold
go
on.
ahead. Go ahead.
Thinking we could carry on 2 families on 2 different sides of the town. Delusion? Oh, y'all the kings of the motherfucking crown. You have no other choice but to talk about how much delusion you're in. Okay? So if we adopted another one of y'all stinking traits, that's what it is. We adopted it from y'all. Ha!
The escape of accountability.
Yeah, whatever. Call it what you want to. Like I said, men are delusional as well. Look back in all the books.
No,
you see it every day. You see it there. It's 100%. They delusional. This one think he could get a young one that's a virgin still. With his views. Delusional. This one is a male chauvinist.
Wait, I don't. What if I actually said that's chauvinist?
Be right on his dick, like yo.
I do not be. All right, let's not even go there.
No.
Not even close. When when he ain't on point, which is hardly ever. You know.
You be over there.
That's right.
What you say?
Listen,
what you say?
No. What is the delusion? We talk about black girl magic, right? Well, how come they couldn't conjure up a spell to keep them 375,000 jobs?
Ain't nobody a witch. That's why. Because ain't nobody a witch. Because nobody's a witch.
Conjure up a spell to keep their baby father.
Because nobody's a witch.
Right. No, wait. But how you saying you ain't a witch, but you talking about black girl magic? Come on now, make it make sense.
You the one that said that.
I'm not the one that said. That's because that's what's out there. That's what's out there. I didn't create it. I'm just talking about what I've heard. Black girl magic.
They have black magic. That's the reason why they can't get up.
No.
It ain't even that. It's hocus
You asked me a question. So black girl magic has nothing to do with conjuring up or anything, or being no kind of craftmatic witch or anything. What that basically means is a woman who came from nothing, who did something with her life and keep on moving is positive. That's black girl magic. She did something out of nothing.
I think
so. Don't do that. Don't.
I think that's called being an adult.
No, it's not called being an adult, because some people still have a problem with being an adult.
Yeah.
Some people still in their mama's basement.
I think
and they don't pay no bills. So let's not act like, you know what I'm saying, that people are easily being an adult based on age.
Well, we already know that.
60-year-old babies still.
That's right.
So let's
because
not do
what
that.
Shahrazad Ali said, the average black woman only has the mentality of what, a 14-year-old girl.
That
So-
she was
What I've
talking
been
about
saying
men.
all this
No,
time.
she's talking about women,
Well, I
black
don't know what
women.
woman she's
she
talking
said black
about.
women get stuck in that age of being 14 years old. And then my sister's like, Disney played a job on y'all. She was like, hey, Disney messed us up. You have this Disney delusion.
messed her up.
No, Disney messed a whole generation of women
please.
up. Listen, I was at a workshop and they talked about if you could be in a movie, what movie would you be in? And I swear to God, over 80% of the women said they'd be a Disney princess. Like, come on.
You know,
Hey,
it's
grown
funny thing
women.
You just said that. I
Grown
just thought
women.
that instantly in my mind. That's what they're probably saying.
Grown women. We're not talking little girls. We talking grown women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s still
So
talking
what's
about
wrong with that?
being a
So what's
Disney
wrong with
prin-
that?
Because
So what's wrong with that? What's
number
wrong with
one-
finding
all
Prince
right,
Charming
let-
and him bringing you to a castle and
No-
taking care of you for the rest of your life?
nothing wrong
What's
with
wrong
that.
with that?
There's nothing wrong
Okay,
with
so
that.
at the end of the day, it ain't about fucking Disney. They basically painted a picture that we don't touch. You understand what I'm saying? But we know that Princess Diana lived through that dream. You understand what I'm saying? We know that bitch.
And look what happened. What was her outcome?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
that.
No,
Don't do that.
Nah.
Because Lisa,
No.
what's her name? Lisa Ray.
What about
Right?
Lisa Ray?
Right? Didn't she go and marry a damn king?
She's divorced.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
What is she?
alive.
What is she doing now?
She alive. She's back acting, doing her thing.
No, she has no man. She's doing absolutely nothing.
You don't know what she doing. You
Another
ain't with her.
another woman was a complete failure.
He don't know what she doing, and I don't know what she doing. But at the end of the day, she's still alive. I know that, and she was a
She's
princess.
alive alone. She's gonna die lonely with a cat.
Listen, you don't have to die lonely when you got this cat, okay? When you got a cat, let me tell you, girls, honey, know how to use it and stop giving it to everybody because they ain't worthy.
Now, listen, I can agree
Now,
with
They're
that.
not
we can agree
worthy.
with
We
that.
can agree with
They're
that.
not
We can agree
worthy.
with that.
Definitely
They're
agree
definitely
with that.
not
I can agree with
worthy.
You
that.
know, but again, I mean, when did being with a woman almost having to come out and constantly, it's all about payment? I mean, that's actually
What the fuck?
absolutely
Y'all ain't even got no
ridiculous.
money. What do you
What
mean
do you
all
mean?
about payment?
What do you mean?
Who-
64% of black men are in the middle class. I mean, now who don't
And
have
they're
no
in
money?
relationships. Ain't
No.
nobody talking about them. I'm talking
No.
about what's out here on the streets,
Oh,
motherfucker.
well, yeah.
Right
that's
now,
of
what's
course
out here on the streets, these motherfuckers
Well,
ain't got no money.
Oh,
What is you
well,
talking
what you
about?
talking about?
They
The
live in
streets
paycheck to
definitely
paycheck
got
too.
money,
They
you
live in
know.
paycheck to paycheck. Ain't no gold diggers out in the ghetto. Get the fuck out of here. Ain't nobody
Listen.
got no gold in no ghetto. Ain't no
Listen.
bitches out here talking about, oh, you gotta pay me for this. Bitches is out here helping, making sure that niggas get straight, just like niggas
No,
out here.
wait, that's you. You're speaking from your subjective experience. Because I guarantee you ask most of these dudes, this is why most dudes are checking out, because it's like, it's not even worth it. You see on social media, you gotta pay for this,
So where
you
they
gotta
came from
pay for that.
50-50? Where
You
that?
doing
Oh, so
that.
I invented that shit?
No, I mean, it ain't even, but what relationship, as I said before, is ever 50-50? There's no such thing as
Men
There
always
does
do
not.
more.
It doesn't
No.
matter.
It
doesn't
does
ma-
matter.
No, it
It
does
does
not. No,
matter.
it does not. It does not.
does matter.
Because there is no equality in that shit.
No,
Long as
there
somebody-
should be
long as
equity.
you- No,
The
how
only
the-
place.
how- there's so
listen,
much to a
the
relationship. How can
right,
it be?
it is equity because the only place equality exists is in the math and in the mind. Outside of the mind and outside of math, I've never seen equality. No two
Well,
snowflakes
and it
are
ain't gonna
alike.
equal
No
there
two
either.
raindrops.
And it's not gonna
No,
equal
there's
there in a
there's a difference
relationship.
between
But
being
still,
equal and equitable.
it depends
And
Well,
on
let me give
what
an
the
example.
roles
Let me give
are.
an example, right?
It's the roles.
A man can work, right? His wife could be out of work for a year,
Or she
2
could be
years,
working.
3 years, whatever. He doesn't bitch and moan. When a woman and a man goes out of work and the woman's left
Paying
taking
the
care of,
bills.
she'll do it for about 6 fucking months. He'll never hear her fucking mouth stop running. It'll just keep running. She'll complain all the fucking time. She'll call her girlfriends up, be like, I should leave this nigga.
He
all
ain't
this other
shit,
shit. He ain't
emasculating
shit.
him.
He ain't trying to do shit. That's why I said we're not built the same.
That ain't his story. He heard that bullshit. But anyway, like I was saying, that shit is irrelevant.
Well, how many sisters are living vicariously through other stories they hear from other women? How many actually
What the problem
sisters?
is?
What do you mean? What the problem is?
What the problem is?
Like seriously, how many of these women that you know whose brothers are really ain't shit niggas? How many are actually that way? You know, they're hearing stories about sisters who making bad choices.
Well, I think you have to do a little bit more. I think you have to. When a woman keep messing with bum niggas, she needs to be. Maybe she's not shit because you got to think about it. If that's all you're attracting, maybe that's what you are. You really ain't shit. But nobody has had the guts to tell you how it is. You can look good, still not be shit. You can be ugly and still not be shit.
You would know, motherfucker.
I base a
You
woman.
would know.
Listen,
But at the end of the day,
I base a woman's value on the type of man she's able to obtain.
oh, get the fuck out of here, because you can get anything, and the better you get, the worse they are sometimes. Trust me, I know. So at the end
Explain.
of the day,
What do you mean? The better they're, the worse they get. Explain
Oh,
that.
please. I done had from the chef to the motherfucking assistant DA. And the motherfucking chef was royalty, like basically, and the motherfucking assistant DA ended up going to jail. So at the end of the fucking day, stop
Well, we
playing
are
with me.
corrupted
Don't
kids,
keep
so
worrying
she's
about what the
messing with
woman
bum
wrote.
motherfuckers.
That's not a bum, dummy. If he was fucking, anyway.
If he's going to jail and doing all that other stuff constantly,
Yo, because the motherfuckers is
He might.
fucking crooks.
He's a.
Get the fuck out of here. He's
Okay,
not a
but-
bum. A fucking assistant DA is not a bum. Shut
But
up.
if he's
He's
a
a
crook.
he's a corrupt. He's
Oh my
corrupt.
God, yeah, he's corrupt. However, he wasn't no motherfucking bum. nigga.
I would think it's the same level. I don't know.
Well, it's not the same level, okay? Bum is motherfucking somebody who ain't got no motherfucking money and ain't got nothing and ain't trying to get nothing.
My husband
Don't do
ain't
that.
no bum, but he
Don't do
robbed banks.
And that's still not a
I
bum.
don't
That's a
know.
bank
Hey,
robber.
you know
Okay,
what?
okay,
You know
I
what? Hey, the
He's
bank.
a bank robber.
Hey, listen.
Them bank
But
robbers
you
be
know
coming
the-
off. You know what I'm saying?
But to switch that up, because let's think about what we're dealing with right now in Connecticut. We got politicians under FBI investigation for
Period.
misallocation of funds. I
All
mean,
the time.
all the time here. So goes back
And
to.
unfortunately, you know, sometimes they don't know what they're signing. Let's keep that shit 100. They don't know what they're signing. They just putting papers in front of them and
No, I can't.
Yeah,
I
bull
definitely.
crap.
I disagree.
I
Bull crap.
definitely
No,
can't
and
agree
he
with
said
that.
that he
No.
didn't know what he was signing,
Well,
and I
well,
believe him.
number
guess
one,
what?
that means you're incompetent
Public
to be a
schools
man.
don't care about if their kids can comprehend or not, okay? And I said it, okay?
Well, we already know most public schools are just there for one thing: to train you to go back and to be either a cog in the wheel or to be in the prison system. It's one or the other. You're not trained to be or taught to be a free thinker, have critical thinking skills. Henceforth, let's just think about what's going on now with the Supreme Court and the whole idea of birthright. You know, people don't read for comprehension because, again, what does the 14th Amendment say? Now, we want to believe that it applies and was intended to make us citizens, but nowhere in there does it grant us citizenship as 3/5 black folks. We need to understand that. Dred Scott in 1857 said that we were not considered people, persons, or citizens under the Constitution. The 14th Amendment says all persons. Nowhere does it specifically cite us. So even though they say it was intended for us, the drafter, one of the drafters, Roscoe Conklin, said that he put all persons to give corporations a persona and give them rights under the Constitution. Hence, since it was implemented, more corporations, over almost 300, I'd say over 300 corporations have benefited from being considered a person according to the 14th Amendment, where less than, I would say, 50 so-called 3/5 black folks have benefited from the 14th Amendment. And what most people don't realize is if you look at Article 4, we wonder why we can't get reparations. Because it's right there. If you read it carefully, it says the United States government will not pay for its loss or emancipation of slaves. So we got to understand, going back to what we talked about before with Rick Rowe talking about FBA, there's ADOS. My only issue with that is if we're talking about that trying to get our reparations, constitutionally it's not there. Remember, why was Roe v. Wade overturned? Because the issue before the court said, what does the Constitution say about abortion? Nothing. And if it's not in the Constitution says, at the top, I believe the 10th Amendment says it goes back to the state. So let the states decide, let the people vote and choose. So I don't understand why people are saying that it's overturning your right to, reproductive care, because number one, you're not reproducing anything. So we got to go back to arguing what is our classification constitutionally, which is 3/5 such persons. And we got to, like Dr. Clark always says, the identity of a people must relate to land, history, and culture. And with that being said, once we come to a unifying identity, we can then stop with this nonsense of these so-called gender wars. Because as Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, all warfare is based on lies and deception and misinformation and propaganda. I'm adding that now. Because again, under 44, Obama, he allowed for the government to actually propagandize misinformation. And this is what we're dealing with.
Why you so serious?
I'm not serious.
You got the itis?
I'm looking in the camera.
Because your happy ass was chilling.
So Trizzy, what do you feel about that, the birthright citizenship? Or is it just a, smoke screen?
I mean, right now the birthright citizenship is used right now to basically, because we have an influx of immigrants, right? So they're saying the birthright citizenship, that's the only reason why you're granted the citizenship, which kind of makes sense. I mean, but again, everybody's going to use that terminology to fit the narrative they needed to fit. I know we have this big thing with ICE going on. I mean, this is all this is playing part of that now. I feel personally that we deserve reparations. But that's my personal belief.
Again, my
What
issue.
the fuck you did to get some reparations? I just want to know. Just please tell me. I'm not trying to be funny.
Well,
but tell me what you did.
Well, you think of if you look back in the days, our forefathers. My
Now, where's your
parents,
family from? What part of the South?
My mother's from Georgia.
Oh, mm-hmm.
So even then, my grandfather wasn't allowed the opportunity in order to grow his business because he was black. Banks wasn't giving him loans because he was black. So you put a hindrance on him. Meanwhile, other people that were in those positions, well, like I say, a lot of white people that were in those positions, they were able to advance and build, generational wealth off the backs and the labor of our people. So therefore, a debt is owed. As a matter of fact, a debt is owed. I mean, you can't deny it.
Well, again, I'm going to go back to the terminology that I would use because I don't believe the proper term is reparations.
I think the proper term is reparations.
No, and I'm going to say why. I'm going to say that we need to be making a proper claim, which is subrogation, which means unjust enrichment, as I said before. And because people will sit up in there and say, well, I wasn't responsible for slavery.
Well, that's
and,
not, but it's not based on,
no,
see, and that's what they try to put in place. It's not based on that particular individual. It's based on the system that was put in place by the United States government.
But not only
it doesn't
just
matter
the government.
Who took it,
But not only just the government either, though. And this is why I say it's subrogation. Remember, insurance companies have whole departments. And what is subrogation? It's simply unjust enrichment by one person over another.
Yeah, but the problem with that, Mike, if you begin to change the terminology, you're going to set it back that much more.
How so? Explain to me how, because we haven't got anywhere with reparations with that terminology.
Well, the reparations, the funny thing, reparations just started being talked about as of recent.
It hasn't.
I'm saying as far as a movement, people
I mean, remember Paul Robeson. People don't realize this. Paul Robeson actually brought a claim of reparations to the United Nations.
How long ago was that?
Right. That I mean,
wait.
So you have that.
How long ago was that?
That right there, I believe, was in the 50s. Then you had Randall Robinson, who wrote The Debt back in the 80s and 90s, talking about reparations. So it's not nothing that has been new.
But you notice that all those individuals have wrote it, and then all of a sudden disappeared.
Of course, because
why do you think that?
Because we got we got, as we say, we got those gatekeepers. We got the Congressional Black Caucus. We got people sitting up in here again. Going back to the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, which of course they haven't comprehended completely. The 13th Amendment never ended slavery. It says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a wait, let me finish.
But let's stick to the subject at hand.
No, we're sticking to the subject at hand because again, we got to sit back and say, hey, go back to our classification, which is what, according to the Constitution, 3/5. That's what we have to go back to if we're going to argue and win the case. Again, the reason why Roe v. Wade was overturned was because abortion is not mentioned in the Constitution.
Okay.
So you have to look and see, what does the Constitution say about who we are? We're not black. We're not African. We're not Negro, according to the Constitution.
That has nothing to do with the price of rice in China.
Bullshit.
Here's what I'm saying, right? Here's what I'm saying. You paid the Chinese for their shit. You paid the Jews for their shit.
Right.
All them guys. So when it comes to us, it's like,
Right.
oh, well, we gotta reclassify it.
No,
reclassification.
but again,
Hell no.
No, but again,
FBA.
No, but again, where is FBA in the Constitution? They're able to do that because they have
Where is
an
the
identity.
Jews in the Constitution?
Because again, they're
Stick to the
not.
subject at hand. Where the
No,
Jews?
they're not in the Constitution.
Okay, exactly.
But, no, and why aren't they in it? Because they're the ones who were part of the creation of the Constitution. Ain't no difference between the Constitution and the Talmud. They're the one and the same, written by the same people. Now, if you don't believe, all you got to do is look at the Torah and the Constitution. You look at the Torah, and then the Talmud. The Talmud is what? The reviews. Just like you got the Constitution and all those law reviews. The Constitution is a very, very thin pamphlet. However, you go to them law schools.
Did Japan get the Japanese get their money for their war? Yes.
Yes,
Did the
because
Chinese
they
get
have a
theirs?
nation. They have a
Okay.
nationality.
So
what is our
everybody-
nationality?
Your nationality
What is our
is
nationality?
FBA,
Where's that?
Foundation
No,
of
where
Black
that?
America.
Where is that located? Again, Dr.
Here
Clark
in the
always
United
said,
States.
Where? But
I
again,
don't care what
no,
goddamn
you
Dr.
have
Clark
to.
say.
No, you have
Listen,
to care.
listen, whoa.
The identity
We
of a
have to-
people must relate to
Dude,
land, history, and
Let me tell
culture.
you something.
Calm your dicks down.
Let me tell you something. You got to get off of these. What does Dr. Henry Clark and all these other people, these theorists, have said? We're not going by what they say because they don't control the base. They don't
What do you
control the
mean?
people.
Number one, these are the people. These are our elders who set a foundation to give us our roots. To sit down and say, hey, again, black doesn't tells you what you look like, but not who you are. So again, the identity of a people must relate to land, history, and culture. So first and foremost, like he said before, we are a nation within a nation looking for a nationality. So Japan is a nation with a nationality. Israel and Jewish people have a nation and a nationality.
Your nationality is FBA, Foundation Black American. Foundational Black American.
No, that's for you. That's fine for you. Do you
Yeah, what do
agree
you
with
mean?
that identity?
No.
Now So how can now you sound
but
you really sounding like Trizzy.
Can I ask you something? Okay, so where's your nationality from?
What the fuck is you talking
I'm asking.
about?
You
You
say
don't-
you don't don't get involved.
I am
Ask her
an
what-
African American black woman.
Okay,
That
so-
came from D.C. Point blank. Period. My ancestors are from here, North Carolina. I ain't from no motherfucking 100% Africa.
So why do you put African in front of your name?
Because some stupid motherfuckers only give me that option.
No.
Yeah.
That's the option they gave
No,
to
that's
tell
the
you.
option that's on the paper. It's
Let me tell
white.
you something. So can I ask you
It's
something?
African American.
If we
It's
all came from, because we all came
Hispanic.
from, listen,
It's Asian. It ain't no fucking black.
here's how I take this argument.
If it's black there, I put black too.
all right,
What
all right,
the
Ray.
fuck?
If everybody, we all know we came from Africa, right? But if you live in Jamaica, why are you not African Jamaican? Or you live in Dominican, why are you not Afro Dominican?
Because y'all think y'all too good.
No.
See, this is what I'm talking
but,
about.
But all right, but we got to put things in historical context. When did
We're
this
not
division happen? No, we do.
There is no division.
No. Well, there is because.
Well,
it's
there
been
is a
created.
division. There is a division.
But there is no division.
There is a division.
But again,
But
remember when we look at and when we started coming and resisting, all of our organizations had the name of what? African. That right there. Regardless if we were from Jamaica,
why are Jamaicans called Afro Jamaicans?
Why? Because again,
Why are they not called Afro Bajans?
Why?
Why? What?
Well,
just answer. Don't go off on a tangent. Answer what that is. Because what?
Again, just like we have identity politics now, our identity has constantly changed. This is why when Marcus Garvey came here, he could not succeed in Jamaica doing what he did because of the colorism. Whereas when he came here, black is black. If you have one drop of Negro blood, you are Negro. And so it didn't matter if you were light, bright, and damn near white, you were still a nigger.
But let me ask you something.
Wait, you asked.
Africans don't even identify with Black Americans.
No, but when did this started happening?
Do they?
Remember,
They've been calling us Akadas for years.
No, they haven't.
They have.
The only time you heard
Yes,
that word
they have.
Akata was in the movie Sugar Hill. I never heard the word Akata referring to us until the movie Sugar Hill.
They've been saying Akata for years.
And
before Sugar Hill was even out.
And maybe that was something within a small few, because there are Nigerians
Listen.
who, again, but Rick, you got to understand that one of the other reasons why this was created was one of our strongest movement came out of the Bandung Conference when all the African and Asian nations met. And this is where you started seeing all these nations rising up and getting their independence. From Ghana, from Kenya, from Vietnam, all these nations rising up against British colonial rule under this unification of being African. Whether we were in the South America, whether we were in the southern and northern parts of the United States, or if we were on the continent of Africa. You had Frantz Fanon, let me finish, who was the architect of revolutionary theory, the wretched of the earth.
You're going off tangent.
No, I'm not going
Yeah,
off
you
tangent, because again, he identified as African. And until we go back to identifying as African and that movement and
Everybody's
understanding
not
that
from
one.
Africa,
We all come from.
We all were.
We all were, right.
But,
and then, well,
so
but
why
we
don't
were,
you call the Europeans Afro-Europeans? Everything
why,
started
well,
in
well
Africa.
number one, because most Europeans
the-
are Neanderthal. Let's understand that.
But they
Most,
started off in Africa.
no, they did not.
Yes, they were.
No, they did not. They
Due to the
were
pigments?
Neanderthal. No, what ended
to the
up
pigmentation
no,
of
no,
their
no,
skin.
no. They were the Neanderthals. It was the Homo sapiens in Africa who migrated up, who were albinized, who migrated into Northeast Africa and then miscegenated with the Neanderthals. And if you don't believe me, they put it in the movie. Watch the movie Quest for Fire.
I'm going by history.
I'm going by history. I'm putting things in historical context. We sit down and break it down. I mean, like when we talk about, I can give you concrete examples as when we were unified under the term African and Negro.
Let's get back,
African and Negro, because
let's get back to the subject at hand. Why aren't Jamaicans called Afro-Jamaicans? Why are Trinidadians
but they were
called
in the.
Afro-Jamaicans? No, they were
yes,
never
they.
called.
Oh my goodness! All you got to do.
Where?
Listen. Listen. You can look at Alexander Crummell, one of the
Pull
first.
it up on your phone. When did they
my
say?
phone is right
Oh.
there. My phone. You pull it up on yours.
When
look
have
him up.
Jamaicans ever been?
What?
Because the term
No,
African American.
listen. I mean, in the 17 and 1800s, the
Mike,
terminology with Jamaicans. Let me just finish.
You know where African American came from?
The African American, the term didn't come from until Jesse Jackson. But again,
Okay.
What was the original? Wait. What was the original name of the Prince Hall Lodge?
Thank you.
What was the original name of the Prince Hall Lodge? The African Lodge. What was the name of one of our very first churches? The African Methodist Episcopal. Everything. So you can't sit down there saying that we never had it is historically inaccurate.
The African Lodge wasn't the first lodge. You want to argue with me with that? I am a Mason. I can tell you.
So I said, what was that?
Prince Hall was the first one to start the African Lodge because he wasn't allowed in the lodges in Europe. So he became Prince Hall. He started up the lodges
under the Scottish Rite. It was not the York Rite. Because at that time the Scots and the British were at war.
There was no black lodge, and the reason why people were fighting because he was saying he's starting up a lodge, and he was like, because I face the east. They was like, no, brother, you are from the east, meaning that he was black. They were already knowledgeable in all the arts and crafts, the square and the compass.
Right. No one is disputing that. I never did. All
right.
I said was, what was the original name? Did I say what was the original name of the Prince Hall Lodge? It was the African Lodge. I never said it was the first lodge. I said the original name of the Prince Hall Lodge was the African Lodge. Can we agree on that?
No.
No. So what was no? Okay. Well, you don't have to agree. No. But that's what it was called.
No,
yes.
we can't.
You don't have to. But again, let's look at all of our organizations prior to the 1900s, prior to the coming of the NAACP. Again, that's when we went from being Negro and African to colored. Let's understand so we can progress these changes because, again, all we were called here first was Africans, niggas, Negro. All the way up. And you look at in literature. I'm going to go by what we find in literature and in writing.
Okay, but I want to go back to the point again. Why aren't Jamaicans called African Jamaican? You have not answered that question.
I just told you that.
Okay,
they changed it in the 1900s. Prior to that, again, you look at all of our organizations across the Caribbean and in America, Well, all of the organizations had African in it first.
No,
Not
they didn't.
black, not FBA, not ADOS. It had African. Then Negro. The Negro crisis.
I
So-
disagree.
You
Okay,
can
Fizzy,
disagree, but
Fizzy,
again,
explain.
give some chronological dates, give some books that you can sit down and contest that. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to put it in its chronological context so we can see these transitions. Because again, after that, after we went from Negro, then it became Black Power. Why did Black Power come about? I was talking to John Logan, one of the Syracuse 8, and he said it was because this was our word, black. It was who we were. It gave us pride. And then after that right there, when they saw all that movement and all that strength, by the 1980s, that's when Jesse Jackson came and said, nah, we're going to go with African American. So we start seeing, and then about maybe 2000, all of a sudden it became BIPOC. Now and then after that, it became I identify as, starting off with your homegirl from the NAACP, Rachel Dolezal. That started this whole identity politics talking. Then all of a sudden you start seeing in academia, people start saying, I identify as my pronouns. I identify as they, them. I'm a legion. I'm a demon. You know, these are the identities now. Now we're into identity politics. To go back to the 14th Amendment. Remember, you got to have a false persona so that you can be recognized by the government. Remember, the government is an artificial entity, and they only have jurisdiction over other artificial entities. So, as if I can take on a false identity, then that gives the power over my natural beingness to a false and fictitious entity called the government. And this is why they have to manufacture consent to sit down so that we give over our rights that they will never give back. So again, we have to have our identity. We have to sit down and identify, come up with a nationality, an identity that relates to land, history, and culture. And as I said before, for me, I go by Danakusa, which stands for descendant of African, Negro, African captives in the United States. Why? Because I know that the Negroes were the indigenous people who were reclassified. And so that right there gives us an identity.
But let me ask you something. Do you realize there were black people over here before that boat even arrived?
That's what I just said. Did I not just say that?
Okay.
Right. And I always said. So let
why
me.
won't you identify yourself with the soil in which you came, which you were originally from? Unless you do you have.
And that's what I said. Danakusa, descendant of African, Negro, African captives in the United States of America. This is the soil. I understand. Africa is my roots, but this is my land. This is where my ancestors shed their blood, died for.
So why would you be against foundational Black American?
Because again, it does not relate to land, history, or culture.
How doesn't it?
Well, because again, black tells you what you look like, not where you're from. So this is
Foundational.
Foundational. What does foundational mean? Do you know where you can find foundational on a map geographically? What I'm saying.
If you want to go to that technicality,
yes, we have to because again.
Listen. You gotta calm down.
No.
You gotta listen.
I'm listening.
If everybody originally came from Africa, right? But when you go over to whether it was Europe, any other country, that became your nationality.
Yes,
okay.
we agree.
So why won't you say that your nationality is FBA if you're a part of the foundation, or maybe you're not?
I just did. Are you not listening? Descendants of African, Negro in the United States of America. Again, let's understand the word culture. It comes from cultivate, from the land. So we have created our own culture. We've cultivated our culture in this land. Again, my people are from Alabama and South Carolina, Gullah Geechee. Okay, we are up south people. Just like the Nile Valley goes from south to north, we migrated from south to north. We are the same people. The people who built the pyramids, there's a book out. Again, I think I might have referenced before. God Wills the Negro by Theodore P. Ford. And in it, he says, when the Nile Valley African disappeared, the, quote, Negro emerged. And who are the Negro? The only people who are identified as Negro are, as you say, foundational Black Americans, as I like to say, Danakusa, and as Rage likes to say, Black African American. Now,
Oh, okay. I was thinking more so you saying my terminology is wrong.
no, I never said your
that's what I
terminology
was
is
getting
wrong.
at.
What all I'm saying is that if we're going to argue at a constitutional level, it does matter about the semantics. It does matter about the technicalities. It's the details. Again, we sit down and we tell everybody the 13th Amendment ended slavery. No, it did not. Read it carefully. It says neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime where the party shall have been duly convicted. The next section, Congress has power to appropriate legislation. And what happened after they passed it? We got arrested for nonsense, being vagabonds, for this, for that, all nonsense. To do what? To serve on the what? The chain gang. Free labor, again. Now we have what? Mass incarceration. I mean, why are drugs illegal when 80% of it is consumed by Americans? Remember, cocaine was the drug of the rich. Why are people going to jail for getting high? Let's just be honest. Like, I have my liberties. If I want to get high, I should be able to get high. If I ain't hurting nobody. Remember, the British sat down and had a war called the Boxer Rebellion to keep the Chinese people hooked on opium. What did KRS say? Illegal business control America. Ganja business control America. Then and now, Coca-Cola had cocaine in their product. You mean to tell me they ain't still running cocaine? Get out of here. Let's understand that. They're nothing but a front. America is a Ponzi scheme. Capitalism, the only way capitalism works is based on three things: war, debt, and speculation. So, come on now. We want to have real talk. We can talk about, well, bitches and hoes and this, but let's get down to the real nitty gritty. You know, we sitting down, we're dealing with inflation. Remember, the Fed created the reserve in 1913. With arbitrary inflation, it's not Trump, it's not Jerome Powell, it's the Fed system, arbitrary inflation. Since 1913, at a 2% arbitrary inflation
We got to
rate.
slow down because we're going way off.
No,
We're
this
going
is bar
way
talk. We're all
over.
over, but it's all connected. Everything is everything. You know, we gonna have these conversations, but right now we dealing with, again, with inflation the way it is, with our women talking about, I need a man to get paid. Give me $50,000 a month. Like, these are conversations that these out there on social media that people actually are entertaining. Like, and I don't have a problem with giving you 50,000 if you gonna sit down and what's my ROI in a timely manner. I want to know, 50 bands, what's my rate of return? On my ROI, how long? So these are the delusional conversations that our sisters are having, but not understanding economics and how the economy works. We're getting ready, like, it's crazy. We're in the middle of a conflict. We're getting ready to go to another conflict with Cuba. I mean, these are these people that we're dealing with, and you know, we're dealing with.
Hold on, it's overload, yo. You losing me.
I'm just saying.
Because we jumping, we going to be.
Well, again, bar talk, but you're asking, but how
I'm
these are all
just saying because
connected,
it's
though?
going from this over here, over here.
Right.
I'm starting to lose, like, we got to have some kind of continuity, though. Man. If we can't,
yeah, but I'm trying to get away from the hoes now, right now.
No, we can get away.
But again, to bring it back to the hoes.
But if we stick, it's all right to get away from it. But if you go off it a little bit, yeah. But we going from this topic to this topic to this topic, this topic, this topic,
Right.
this topic.
I mean, I'm sorry if you
like,
can't make them connections, but again, you asked, you opened that floodgate.
Oh, are you losing me though, man?
I can't help that I'm losing you, but again, you asked. Maybe I'm going too fast, but again, what did I say that was not correct?
I'm glad I don't have to edit this shit.
I don't even know what to answer because it's like so many things. Pick a topic, yo.
But again, but you was going back to, again, the whole terminology that we start with: birthright, reparations. And again, all I said was that we got, the term for me is subrogation, which again deals with our unjust enrichment on so many levels, not just our captive experience.
Felt like reparations was still needed.
I feel the reparations are still needed.
So that's where we were at the beginning.
Right, because I think you can't, somehow or another, the debt needs to be paid.
Again, I'm not saying the debt doesn't need to be paid, but what I'm saying is you're trying to sit up there and talk about the Japanese and the Jews, correct? However,
did they all get money?
right, but
Okay.
again, why would they get money? But again,
in a sense, that's reparations, right?
right, no, but again,
Okay.
going back.
So we can agree on that.
Right. But again, I'm saying, why can't we get it? Because again, number one, as right now with our current classification according to the Constitution. Is why. Because it is American policy. Have you ever heard of the mudsill theory?
Listen.
No, you want to sit down.
Whatever classification you want to put it, just cut the check, yo.
How are they going to cut the check? It sounds simple. Yes, it's easy. The only way they're going to cut the check is if we sit down and we put a gun to their head.
But you know what? This is what I have a problem with. And again, it's nothing. You my man. This is what I have a problem with, though, right? It's like when it comes to black people, it's all we got. All this in or what if this and what if this? All these different kind of things that we got to try to grab out the air to try to make it work. But when it comes to anybody else, it's plain and simple. Right there on the paper, right there on the platter. But when it comes to us, well, no, we got to do, like even for get minority participation, right? Oh, we need to do a feasibility study. Okay. You do a feasibility study. It takes 3-4 years, right? The work that went in didn't happen. And then, okay, that work is gone. They still doing the study. Then they found and they did a study, figured out that blacks, Hispanics, everybody else was being left out the game of playing within to get some of the construction work. Right? Another big project come up.
Wait, give some more background because you just went into.
Well, I'm speaking as construction.
Okay,
right?
So
you do raw work. Well, we got to do a feasibility study. We have to see what is really a need. We all know it's a need. You're not going to have the minority participation. So what they do is do a feasibility study. It takes 5 years. The work is already done. Right? 3 more years, another job comes up. We need to do another feasibility study because that one that we just did is old. So they start this shit all over again. It ain't nothing but a system. And when it comes to black people and minorities, it's always all these hurdles and all this other bullshit you gotta go to. Cut the motherfucking check. That's all I'm saying.
Right, I agree. But how and who are they cutting the check to? This is where we get into the bureaucracy and all this.
If you're from the lineage, meaning that it's clear that you're from the lineage, you're what I call FBA, and you have a parent, at least one parent that's FBA, that have lineage going all the way back to slavery here in the United States, you deserve the money. Not immigrants that come over from other countries and everybody try to jump into.
But again, I have an issue with because not all of our ancestors. Wait, let me finish. Because not all of our ancestors were enslaved. Remember, we had free black communities in Charleston, in Boston, in Philadelphia, here in Hartford. So again, this is what
those communities were so small and minute. Dude.
I'm not disputing. But what I'm saying, I'm not disputing.
But I'm
that.
saying on a
what
grand
I'm saying
scale,
is,
even
no,
some of
I agree.
even some of the FBAs that were already here that had the cities and towns, they still were discriminated against.
Yes.
And some of them were still put in slavery.
I'm not right, but this is what I'm saying. But
why you want to sit there and dissect it? Even that. This
number
is
one, because this is what the European is going. Trust me, this is what they're going to do. You right now, you got a lawyer right now suing the CBC for scholarships. Let me finish.
Why do you have to feel that you have to justify for them and try to make it?
I'm not trying to justify for them. Number one, the only way we're going to cut the check is we got to sit down and we got to have a violent revolution, and we're not going to do that. So if we're not going to do that, then we have to use our brains. We have to use the technicalities and the semantics to overcome these things. And again, that's what we got to, because we're not going to pull out any guns. Maybe these YNs might, but they're so disorganized that they may do it. But then what after that? So we're not in that position.
You can try to find all the loopholes you want. They're still going to find another way to go through your loopholes. That's the reason why it doesn't even make sense to even try to figure all this thing out, try to be all super technical with it.
So then how are you going to get them to cut the check?
Because you
how
start
you going to get
them?
How? Again, you say how, but it's great in theory, but now let's apply it. There's theory and there's application, Trizzy. And you, my man, $100,000. Let's give the strategy.
You get the people on the same page. You stop doing things such as voting. You stop doing what these politicians and everybody asking you to do. You'll get them to do it. The problem is we have always been a culture where people always can be brought off. And
yes, I agree.
You put certain people there with a mindset, they're going to go and try to go into the pack and influence other people to do the same thing. So first of all, you have to draw the line. You say the blacks on this side that's with us, the blacks on that side get over on that side. And then from there, we have a civil war within our own community. and eliminate them motherfuckers that ain't about it.
Well,
that's how you do it.
right. What did the what
You
did
have a
the-
problem with that?
I listen. I think the black last poet said it best. You know, die nigga die. So what? Black people can live. And yes, before there's a war with white people, we gotta kill the niggas within us.
Well, that's right.
And the
You
niggas
have-
literally within personally.
You have-
like we have to sit down and address that.
You do it lay it out just the way I said, and you eliminate a lot of the bullshit. The thing is, if nobody wants to do it, everybody wants to be close. Everybody wants to. Well, listen, if you give me, a piece of cheese over here, I'll go and I'll call dissension. I'll call, conflict within the group, and that's what they do.
Of course, it's nothing new under the sun. But rage, you ain't. I want you to rage.
No,
Come on,
damn well,
rage.
ain't nobody gonna give your ass nothing, so y'all can stop asking for it. It sounds like you're begging.
No, it's
now
gonna
enough
happen.
is
It's gonna
enough.
happen.
It ain't gonna happen. That shit ain't happen for our parents, our grandparents. It ain't gonna happen.
But did our parents push it like it's being pushed now?
No, and it's still not
Okay.
being pushed as it should be.
There's
So
a lot of more
wait.
people
So hold
pushing
on.
it now than it was before.
So Rage, how do you feel? Me and Trizzy been going back, and you've been listening quietly. As a mother, as an entrepreneur, how do you see it? I mean, where do you see us going? Where do you see this
I'm
world for
saying
your
that
your
because of
your
social
children?
media, if there's something that they wanted to definitely push for, it's millions of ways to get a ton of things moving. You understand? Like, go and start a petition online through all the social media sites. If you want your reparations, make sure that you're reaching out to people. Shit, hold yourself accountable. When these little venues come and you can buy a damn table and talk shit there. Make people sign up there and sign cards. Get some cards made. Shit. Don't just talk about it, be about it.
So what do y'all think? Do you think the term should be reparations, subrogation? Should we forget the topic? Don't forget, come on, make comments, like, subscribe. Do you agree with, the Aristogeto chauvinist? Do you agree with Rage? You agree with the
They ain't giving
Trizzy?
you
Or do
shit.
you have your own ideas on this? Come on,
I think-
subscribe.
They-
I
giving
think
you
you
shit.
have to be to the point, and black people, I get to the point and be like, yo, listen, we all gonna be equally comfortable, or we all gonna be equally uncomfortable. Until you start getting to that kind of language, and you start making shit really happen, you'll start to get change.
Is it? Because aren't we at that point already? And I don't see no
Hell
change.
yeah. And we all buying gas right now, right?
I don't see us at
We
that
all
point.
buying gas right now, right?
I said give it about a year. You're gonna start seeing things change.
That shit
Because you
is
got
crazy.
inflation, and when people's stomachs start touching, things happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's more of those things that now you're gonna start to see things change. Just like this past election, black people didn't really go out like that to vote. What you had, like, I think the Democratic Party was, I think they said in Georgia alone, 600 something
Some
thousand
thousand
people
didn't vote.
Didn't vote.
Right.
But that's a start. Now you start getting into other things. You just gotta stay with it, man. The thing is, you can't be fooled. People come back, oh, guess what? We're gonna entertain this, we're gonna entertain that. You even had out in California, because people were so pissed off, they started talking about the Californians getting reparations. Now, why all of something now you're bringing that to the board? Because people have been fighting. They're like, yo, we ain't voting for shit until we get this settled. What happened? The conversation, I knew they wasn't gonna do shit anyway, but the conversation started to happen. That's what you have to do.
So how do we keep the momentum going, to keep the conversation going, and then but more importantly than just the conversation, how do, as you say, you and Dr. King say, how are we gonna get that check? How are we gonna get that check? Really, I mean, and I don't expect us to have an answer now, but at least start really throwing ideas out there. And again, comment, what do y'all think? How do we go about realistically getting what is rightfully ours? Not no handout, not no anything, but we can document how we have been unjustly enriched on so many levels in so many sectors of this society that is systemic. So again, I know we went all off on here and there because that's what we like to do. But at the same time, as we get ready to wrap it up, let's talk about getting the people, and please make some of those comments, because this is a serious issue. Our legacy really depends on what we do now. And that's really what I believe. Like you said, we're at that verge. We're either going to live comfortably or we're going to be scrapping.
Absolutely. And I think we're reaching that breaking point now. We start putting things in place, start getting serious, start paying attention, and stop all this fighting and this arguing back and forth. I think we need to all just start planning and getting together and start forming unities.
So again, if you have plans, thoughts, suggestions, don't forget to share them in the comments because we like to have fun. We're always gonna get back to talking about the hoes, the brothers ain't this and that. And we're always gonna do that because we're a bar talk. That's what it always go to. We're men and women, and we do what men and women do. So, but with that being said, again, this was, a good conversation to get the topic going, and hopefully we can get some momentum around here and throughout the nation, and hopefully throughout the world. Because going back to what you said, Marcus Garvey had a great movement. The UNIA, remember, under, that banner of African unity, that we all had that in common. He had 22 million members. And we can't let's just have, if we had that right there, do you know how strong we could be? And that's all I'm saying is, to sit down and come up with a collective identity that we can unify around, because that's what we don't have. I mean, like you said, the Japanese have a collective identity. The Jews have a collective identity. That's the one thing we unfortunately do not have. And how do we get back to, even if we don't all agree on FBA, ADOS, Danakusa, African American, how do we at least come together and say we have a unified goal, even if we can't come with a, quote, unified identity?
And that's it for Bar Talk, everybody.
This is your boy, the Aristogeto Chauvinist.
I'm Real Rage.
Black Trizzy.
And again, if you want, we're here every Tuesday. Check us out. Don't forget, unfortunately, the chef didn't show up, so we didn't get the appetizer. So, we're about to go get some grub. I missed them drinks, but don't forget, come on out. Tuesdays, we're here. Tune in. And again, subscribe, because as soon as we get up to, 50 subscribers, we're going to start going live.
All
so,
right.
on that note, peace and deuces.
All right. That's exactly.